Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at, the first stage of the Red Ribbon Army, Red Zone. So obviously Red Zone traditionally is some of the hardest content in the game, but it also is quite interesting in design. Generally it's built in a way that it requires different kind of team builds, or there's certain gimmicks or different things involved. Overall, I think the Red Zone generally for this one starts off a little bit softer. Again, Red Zone will always, slowly over time, always traditionally feel easier. As you know, we get more and more units capable of doing Red Zone level events. We will obviously have, so many of these units that it will make things a little bit easier. But how this one works is basically you will spend the first phase facing against Major Metaltrian. I think that's how it's pronounced if I remember correctly, but Commander Metaltrian, you'll definitely be taking him on. Beyond that, nothing too crazy. And then of course the next phase you fight a whole bunch of Murasaka, or Murasaki I should say, which are all going to be different types. Then afterwards you will face the General Blue, and then afterwards you will face Officer Black or Staff Officer Black. So pretty straightforward stuff, I want to say. The first phase is really not too bad. He's immune to stunning, immune to sealing, immune to attack lowering. He doesn't hit too hard. He's obviously tech orientated, so maybe if you can avoid bringing any AGL units if possible. Obviously that's not always the case. Sometimes we have no choice depending on our box, but yeah, if you can, try and avoid bringing AGL units. Generally speaking though, AGL does do fine here. The rest of the phases aren't tech orientated, but strength, physical, does tend to do the best here, because barring the second phase where everyone's weakness is present, physical has no other noticeable weak phases. So that is something I will say you can consider. Definitely is possibly looking at bringing more physical orientated units. Those tend to help. Now in terms of build, or in terms of team build, we're running a Battle of Wits style team with a Friend Piccolo as the lead, because why not? I think it's just a lot of fun to bring him along, and yeah, it's just a fun way to use the team. Piccolo is a very, very powerful unit, so that is obviously advantageous, I think, to bring a unit like Piccolo. He does make the game a lot easier, and he's very, very strong, even without having a very, very potent link set. We're also going to bring some pretty strong stacking units like the Tech God Vegito, who I think is an exceptional unit. And yeah, we're going to be bringing the LR God Vegito as well. So double God Vegitos. We'll kind of talk about their kit overall, and then alongside that we're bringing the physical Piccolo to pair alongside Power Awakening Piccolo. It's not that they are inherently a great combo, they only share 3 links, although 3 great links, but yeah, in general, they do have a decent-ish synergy. We obviously get a bit of healing from them as well, which is something that is pretty good. It's always cool to get healing. Especially in these long form events where you can only take 1 item, so having a rotation that does heal you, I don't want to say is mandatory, but it does really help out. If you are able to heal yourself, it does kind of limit the amount of stress that you're going to have going into each and every single turn. So that does help. I do suggest using an item during this phase here against the Murasaki. There are just so many of them, so the typings just really don't work out in your favor. That's why personally I at least suggest that you do look into potentially not using an item. That would be my suggestion. Obviously you don't have to, you can decide whether you want to use an item or not. It's just because, not that they inherently are super hard hitting, but they do hit relatively hard, like they do hit decently hard. And the thing is the chance of you taking a type disadvantage super attack is a lot higher in a turn where you're facing 5 potential super attacks, more so than in a turn where you're not. So I would at least suggest you know, bringing obviously some kind of item that you can use here. Obviously, I'm just using a Whis, which I always prefer to use. You don't have to again, but it is something that I would suggest. So in terms of our team build overall, I think obviously you can see we've got the LR God Vegeta, we've got the Piccolo, we've got the physical Piccolo. So just to kind of quickly touch on these three units, since they're just currently on the rotation. LR Strength God Vegeta is just a very good free-to-play pickup. He greatly stacks attack and he greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on his 18 key, which is super helpful, but he also raises his defense permanently on his 12 key. If you get his 18 key, he has a high chance of launching an additional attack, which will raise his defense. So overall, he just gets progressively stronger with his LR stats and his decent starting level. That tends to mean that he's a pretty strong unit, especially in events where the fight can tend to go on a little bit longer. So especially in events where you're not kind of fighting in these, like, how can I say, you know, 2-turn, 3-turn kind of fights. This is, you know, obviously a longer fight. We are going to be battling for a while, so having a unit that can stack up, continually raise their defense, does tend to help out more so than a unit that you know, potentially could not. It also means we can do some shenanigans whereby when there's one unit yet left, you can kind of prioritize just getting a whole bunch of 12 keys to raise defense. But yeah, overall I think generally speaking things are pretty chilled. In terms of the tech LR Piccolo, I think obviously he's self-explanatory. No need to go through his whole kit, but he is just really good. To cut a long story short, he gains attack and defense with every hit received. He has 20% damage reduction. His defense can hit like 700k. He restores health if we fall below 30%. He'll gain an additional 30% damage reduction. And we can, we can use this giant form if we get into a tight situation. So, honestly speaking, I just genuinely think he's just really, really good. He's great to run around, and he's just a great pairing partner, great-ish pairing partner for good old physical Piccolo. And physical Piccolo is a great pickup as well. The ability to foresee super attacks. I can never, like, overstate how good that ability is. Like, even now, Piccolo, whose defense is not anywhere near the kind of starting requisite required for this kind of content, is just genuinely a good unit. All because he, honestly speaking, just continues to have an incredible ability to be so like valuable, just so valuable and good, and just like, I don't want to say necessary, but just can do so much as a unit. So yeah, the ability to force these super attacks is just really, really important. Again, I cannot stress enough how good it is to use him, and how good he makes things run. But yeah, overall just very, very solid. Obviously, that being said, just tends to make him not necessarily a focal point. We do try to keep him on rotation because he can stack his defense, but we will be shifting him off because, again, he can be a little bit low. General Blue isn't anything crazy or out of the blue, they can lock your switching, which is a little bit annoying, especially if you've got tech type units that aren't Piccolo. So you could potentially take some damage, like you'll see us have our tech god Vegeta kind of locked into place. That's not great. And yeah, but we do have the Int Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, who can transform into Vegeta. I bring them because they don't necessarily have time disadvantage at any point, barring the second phase, and they do have like pretty decent defense after Super. Plus they have the heal, which is, for lack of a better terms, the heal is very, very helpful. A full heal at any given point in time is always helpful, even if it is somewhat difficult to get. So yeah, I personally think they're great options. Bring obviously after they fuse, they are also very, very strong. And yeah, so I think overall they are a great pickup and they are very useful. They do good damage. Yeah, they're just generally a good card. I think they still just a great card, and they link up great with the Strength Vegeta, who we obviously are using as our lead. And yeah, I think generally speaking, everything is pretty good. I yeah, I would love to say that, you know, this team is broken, but generally speaking, it's just a very good team. If you don't have your own Piccolo, it's really just more of a good team than anything else. I wouldn't say it's an absolutely barbaric team that just absolutely destroys and incinerates all the content. It's just a good team that does a lot of good work and can be very comfortable throughout the fight. So yeah, generally speaking, pretty good stuff. Alongside that, we do have Paikuhan, AGL Paikuhan. Just a great unit. He does a lot, so he does some really cool stuff. First thing that he does, which I think is really, really awesome, he has evasion when you pick up a rainbow orb, which is always helpful. His type supporting is also great as well. His ability to support the whole superclass, pretty helpful. And yeah, I think he's just good. Obviously, we have his active skill as well, which is really, really helpful. So yeah, in general, I think he's just great. And then I think the final unit is the strength, Goku and Vegeta. Obviously, they are also a good pickup, a great unit as well. And just they have the Battle of the Wits lead that we're using to run the team. So yeah, overall, pretty good stuff. Finally, onto Staff Officer Black, who's immune to stunning, immune to sealing, immune to attack lowering, defense lowering, and he can evade attacks, but he doesn't lock or do anything else. So generally speaking, I don't want to say he's easy, but he doesn't have any super crazy gimmicks that you need to be concerned about. We will be transforming Piccolo at this point. There's a couple reasons for this. One, the additional healing that he brings, and two, the damage reduction that he has tends to outweigh getting him 1 or 2 more stacks during this phase. So rather have him basically gain all that damage reduction and like transform and do all his business, and then kind of assess things afterwards. It's just generally a lot better. Obviously here we are concerned about our strength units, but that's okay. Our strength unit should be fine generally, especially if we still have a Whis item left. We should have one which we've hopefully saved for this stage. So generally speaking, they should be okay. They're not going to be they're not going to survive without damage if they get caught in a super attack. But generally speaking, we should be fine. We did bring some really powerful tech units, so we've brought units like Piccolo, we've brought units like Vegito, so we've brought some really strong units, and yeah, just in general, really powerful units. We are going to be using the giant form, reason being is free damage. Giant forms also pause items, so if you're concerned, if you're like, wow, oh no, I popped an item, I used a Whis, what'll I do, I want to transform, you don't have to be concerned that item is paused. So it's not like, when I say it's not like a huge thing, it helps knowing that information. It shouldn't change things too much. I'm using the damage form because I know I'm quite safe in this situation. Obviously, if you are concerned about where you're heading, or you have concerns just in general about how to kind of defeat the enemy or anything like that, then yeah, of course, you may want to consider how you're using your items or how you're raising your items, etc. But yeah, generally speaking, you should be fine. The giant form of Piccolo just does so much damage, so it's really just a great way for us to get free damage. And yeah, not really anything else to say. The free damage, everything else about it, all makes things a lot easier. Team just runs really smoothly, and we just don't seem to have any issues. Everything ran really well. I had no real problems. I did enjoy running this team. I think it did do this event quite well. It does handle the typings phase pretty well, between the ability to force these super attacks with like Piccolo, physical Piccolo. I think in general, yeah, everything just went very smoothly. I don't want to say it was like uber smooth, but I think yeah, it went pretty well. So that was the first stage of the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone. Challenging for sure, as a strong team. So yeah, challenging, but I think overall we definitely got it done, and I think you can get it done as well. So yeah, just kind of go with it. Be aware of the second stage where you're facing a lot of different types of enemies. But if you do that, you should be fine. I don't think you'll have too many issues overall. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and let me know how you find things. Until then, bye.